Hello. Hey everybody, welcome to the front porch. How you doing? How you doing tonight, everybody? It's 6:59 p.m. Just sitting here on the front porch. The rustling of leaves. The last straggler crickets out there. I saw the last of the lantern flies today. Fluttered down as clumsily as they do, bouncing along like they never flew before. And I got to smash it. I got to see it get smashed, I should say. I haven't smashed a lantern fly in a long time. But I told Lauren, right foot. Right by your right foot. She looked down, it was a big one. She went, oh. She went to go smash it. It jumped away. So she ran after it and she jumped away again. And then finally, it tired itself out because it has no more there's nothing left for it to eat. All of its energy is gone. My energy was gone last night after all those drunken calls I took. What the hell was that? Well, guess what? We have to do something similar again. Well, I have a lot of stories here that I want to link together. But I was going to have Jim Lee on. Jim, of course, would never cancel on a show unless he had to, and he had a migraine tonight. And I have quite a few things that I wanted to talk to him about that'll be set aside for when he comes on again soon. I don't know when I'll be able to do that. Probably sometime in November, unless something opens up. Who knows? But I have a lot of things here that I want to string together with you guys, especially on the identity verification end of things on the internet. We have a story over here from Instagram I think is interesting. We have upcoming changes to X and Twitter. Sam Altman over at OpenAI, ChatGPT, is talking about that they're going to have all of their ChatGPT they're going to be able to sext with you. So they're bringing sex operations now, and I guess customized porn and erotica is coming to ChatGPT, of course, with verification. And they call it age gating. Okay? Age verification. So the whole sex bot kind of a thing and all this other stuff, I want to put it all together. I want to see what you guys think about it. There's other stories that I'm just going to be linking into these things into the show here tonight too. You can call in on any number of them. We have that story, of course, of the leaked messages from that Young Republicans chat somewhere, and it was I don't know how real it is, but it's kind of like private group DM kind of things, the kind of stuff that you never want anybody to see, but you but you need an outlet to say just to say ridiculous things, to go above and beyond. That's what this seemed like. I shook my head at a lot of it. And I just think about how everybody's like, whew, glad it's not me. But anyway, there's all of that. And in Extra Innings tonight, which is going to be rebranded, it is Extra Innings, but it makes so much more sense to call it more consistently The Flip Side. So on the flip side tonight, after the end credits, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the show live on quitefrankly.tv, on pilled.net, like I do every night, but I'm going to link up with Matt Christensen, and I'm going to simulcast whatever we do on his channel over on my channel as well. So you don't have to go over to the Matt Christensen YouTube channel if you're already watching on quitefrankly.tv. You can just stay there. Everybody else, Matt Christensen's YouTube channel, that's where we're going to be when this all wraps up, maybe around 10 to 9, so I don't give him a heart attack. It's been a long time since we've spoken. He took some time off. He became a dad yet again. That guy's really just pumping it out there in Montana with his lovely wife, Lil. Nice little army that they're by. It's like, it's the beginning of the real Yellowstone story. I could see Matt riding in his own helicopter across the mountain ranges up there, and shooting wolves and going going to war with local Indian tribes on reservations and all that stuff. That's Matt in the year like 2060 with his young army of, well, they won't be young at that point. They'll all be in their 30s. You know, we'll be in our 60s. No, 80s. 2060. Oh my God, we'll be like 75 years old. Something like that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk to you about tonight. That's what we're going to be doing. And yeah, I just stick with me here. Stick with me. And let's get this show started, shall we? We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
In 2017.
Hey! You guys!
Wow. So in 2017,
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!
So like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I have a bunch of things I pulled together for tonight to inspire some conversation and have a good time with you all, as we like to do every night. But you better call in, and I hope that you're a little bit more sober and coherent than you were last night, because when I went home last night, I almost wept. I almost wept for the children. And so that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm leaving that. I am going to give something away tonight, though. So I have another copy of the Quite Frankly edition of Flip City magazine from March and April 2022. Wonderfully illustrated, as always. And if this is your first time that you take a look at the inside of a Flip City magazine, you just might go out there and get yourself a subscription, or at least gift it to somebody for a special occasion. It really is wonderful, and it was the first time for me to have any kind of presence in a printed publication, and one so classy as well. But I'm also going to throw in one of the now few remaining copies of my band's 2017 release that we're all very proud of, Set the Charge, Sky Goes On. And I bought myself recently, I saw a cross emblem to put on my car, and I saw that it came in pairs of 2. So I said, you know what, I'm going to get it, because I'm going to put one on one of my cars, and I'll give another one away. So one of you out there is going to have this. It comes with an adhesive. It feels like aluminum, something like that, or stainless something, whatever. But it's a really nice, clean piece that you can put on your car or anywhere else, adhesive included, and we will be bound together by this, almost like the turtle doves from Home Alone 2. I'll have one and you'll have one. So that's where you go. So you send super chats. You send super chats to the YouTube, the Rumble Rants, the Quite Frankly Superchat.com, the Gold Pills, and you know what? Tonight, for the first time, I guess I'll include the bits from Twitch, whatever the hell a bit is. So that's what I will do. And I've got the magazine, the CD, and the cross. The cross for your car or anything else that you want to put it on. There you have it. And we will be bound like the turtle doves. Okay, let me see. I was going to talk to Jim Lee about the weather that was coming our way. And I mean, I don't know how many of you guys get the Farmer's Almanac. I like Farmer's Almanacs, to be honest. I really do. I came across quite a few of them, like old ones, and I just like looking through them. I like all the information in it, especially when it's old information, and I don't know, just kind of cozy. But even the newer ones, I like thumbing through them. I have some family that used to get them, and I used to love just picking them up and taking a look at them, and I get a lot of value from that. I like knowing how people see the weather coming based on patterns, just knowing the earth and the land and all that stuff. But every time that we are right here, September, October, especially in the Northeast, somebody says, it's usually a weatherman or something, or rumor gets around, it's going to be a bad winter, I heard. Oh, yeah? Why? Because it's winter? There is no bad winters around here. Especially now, if you're up in, you have a little bit more elevation, you're up in the Adirondacks, you're up in Buffalo, you're somewhere around here. Yeah, you're going to have feet worth of snow that you can pencil in every year. But for some reason, where I am right now in Lower Westchester, it seems like we live inside of a warm, wet bubble. Do with that what you please. It seems we live inside of a warm, wet bubble. And outside of a string of like sub-zero weeks where it'll just be cold and maybe windy, we don't really get a lot of snow. The snow days from my childhood have been almost non-existent. We get about 1.5 to 2, and yes, there is a half of a snowstorm. 1.5 to 2 snowstorms every year, and they usually happen in the month of February. I don't know what the hell it is, but some people are saying this year it's different for most of the U.S. because La Niña is here. And here's what it could mean for winter in the United States. This is by way of TJ Muscaro of the Epic Times that is syndicated on Zero Hedge. La Niña advisory has officially been issued by the Climate Prediction Center, signaling a possible precedent, for winter across the United States. Conditions emerged at the end of September and were favored to persist through December 25 into February 26. The opposite of the weather phenomenon called El Niño, La Niña, refers to when the water temperatures of the central and eastern Pacific Ocean around the equator are cooler than average. That cooling can impact global weather patterns thousands of miles away. While it is expected to remain relatively weak, this year it is expected to have an effect on winters in the United States, especially regarding this year's snowfall. So, to the north, colder and wetter conditions are generally expected, while the southern states are expected to experience warmer, drier winter. Doesn't that sound nice? The Northwest is predicted to have near average temperatures. Doesn't sound that bad. Rainfall and snow. Much of the Northwest from the Cascades in Washington State across the upper Midwest through New England will tend to see an increase in snowfall. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I've got a snowblower. And I'm telling you, I think the only way that this La Niña actually works is if I don't bring the snowblower out. I said this last year and the year before. Whenever I bring the snowblower out and I prime it and I get everything ready, it's good to go, and every nut has been fastened, screw has been turned, and we're ready to rip roar, and not only do my yard, but all of my neighbors to show up like, I don't know, show up with like me and my Saint Bernard dog, okay, with the little rescue cask around his neck with all the liquor inside of it, and the alcohol and the bandaging, and in a Cliff Bar or something like that. I show up for anybody in the neighborhood who needs any kind of help. There I am with my Saint Bernard, the snow thrower, And but the problem is whenever I bring out the snowblower, it chases all the snow away. It's afraid of it. The weather is afraid of my snowblower. So we don't get that much snow if I bring it out. Now, if I leave it in the basement, then we'll get snow, and then I won't have anything to throw the snow with. Anyway, they say that's what's going to happen over here. NOAA's seasonal outlook indicated that much of Washington, Oregon, Montana, and Idaho are expected to see above average levels of precipitation, while states in the southern Rockies, like New Mexico, Colorado, are expected to see below average precipitation. See, this is a weather report for all of you guys, not just me, so I'm throwing it out to you guys. Several areas of the Rocky Mountains, including Salt Lake City area, have already reported significant amounts of early snowfall, and more is reported to be on the way. During La Nina, the southern Rockies historically tend to get below average amounts of snowfall, as well as parts of the Ohio Valley. There is a 3 out of 4 chance it will remain a weak event. The NOAA said in an email, a weaker event tends to exert less of an influence on the global circulation, so it's possible there will be surprises ahead. Oh, yeah, the surprise is we're going to have a couple of disgusting nights of sleet and then just a lot of cold, blustery weather and no snow. Even though I've got Studio B now, so it's hard for me to take a snow day altogether. But if it snows bad enough and I'm out there shoveling all day or blowing all day, then yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will just say, hey, Aurora, you want to go sleigh riding at nighttime? I know a couple of spots. All the old spots. We go sleigh riding at night. Glorious. And she has to know those nights. So you never know. There might be 1 or 2 nights where I don't have anything scheduled sometime in the winter that I say, we're going to postpone tonight's show. Or I'll do an early show or something like that. But watch out for La Nina. Watch out. All right, there was a moment between Bill Maher and William H. Macy. Well, I haven't seen anything from in a long time. And they're talking about President Trump in a little bit more of a sober way than you would have expected anybody to. But I think that you're going to see a little bit more of this. Anyway, take a listen to this. Hold on. One moment. That's good. Perfect.
I always say this, you cannot ever deny success. You just have to give your respect, even if it's not your thing. Don't have the humility to give it up for enormous success on any level.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Trump, not my choice, didn't vote for him, but somehow,
a lot of people did.
And he's, I can't deny the success.
I can't either.
Yeah.
And he's the president.
And he's the president. I always say this.
You know what's crazy? And perhaps this is something where there's something to this in itself. But Bill Maher and William H. Macy, 2 Hollywood libs, they're sitting together, they're talking, and at least these 2 in this instance are just acknowledging his presidency and acknowledging at least moderate success up front. We are always looking beyond what's going on. We're always looking at more and more so the people who are in and around the White House, in D.C., who are influencing, who are just putting weight on one thing or another. Most people are just taking a look at what's going on with economic changes and any kind of shift that is going to be more toward rewarding domestic production, domestic hiring, things like that. The trade deals being fine-tuned abroad and how we are dealing with other nations in a diplomatic way. There is the border situation. Listen, I don't know what's going on internally. I've seen figures that there has been anywhere from 1 to 2 million people who have already self-deported. I don't know how those metrics are being gathered, but we know that crossings are down to almost nothing. There's no reason to try right now. That's for sure. Especially so I know that there are operations underway, and I think that self-deportations can be far and away. You know, the other thing there too is And maybe it's just because I haven't really been reading the news too much because I think so much of it is horseshit right now. Like, I don't give a fuck about the shutdown. You know that about me. I see some people that estimate that anywhere as high as 24 to 25% of the federal government is currently on leave. Whereas we used to estimate it to be somewhere around 17 to 19%. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. And the fact that that started on October 1st, it's October 15th. We are 2 full weeks into this shutdown. And I don't know, nobody in my life has mentioned it. Nobody's paying it any mind. It is the only people who are really, really fucking hurting right now are the 500,000 people or so who work for the federal government, who I'm sure are family men and women, many of them probably even are very patriotic and love this country for all the right reasons too. And despite all that, their jobs should have never been created. They should be working in those jobs, putting those skills to use, but in either the private sector or at state level jobs. And those are the real people who are hurting. I don't know anybody else who's like, damn, my entire life's been on hold since this massive portion. Like, you think about any other company. Think about a company that has to furlough 500,000 employees that doesn't have that isn't like that you don't feel ripples all over the place. Think about a company that is large enough to employ to employ millions of people, to the point where hundreds of thousands need to be furloughed, even whatever the hell it is, and that there is not a huge impact felt all over the place because of whatever the hell it is that they're manufacturing or providing to people. I mean, that's a massive. What do you feel happening right now? Nothing. So much more needs to be cut away. So much more. So I don't pay attention to that, and I don't think anybody else does too. Nobody even knows it's happening unless you're being employed by the federal government, which this would be a great time to find another place of work. It really would be. Get your resume together. So, you might feel better about yourself. But, it's like all of that is going on the surface. And then you have these, the peace, whatever you want to say about the peace deal stuff in Israel. We'll see who benefits the most from the peace between the peace that's just been brokered between Israel and Palestine right now. But the shooting has stopped, and we'll see if this renewed backslapping of Zelensky, in Ukraine is strategy as well. But with the Israel thing, I don't know. I like when wars stop. But like I said, who really benefits and who's doing all the negotiating and what happens from here? And with Israel, the trend that I see, and I don't get too much deep in the weeds with it, but it's because it's just a trend that I see. The government is used to just being so lionized in the media and untouchable on the world stage. That's Israel's government, I should say. They're so used to being so lionized and untouchable on the world stage that it seems that there is only peace in the region when they want a little time to recharge their military before they choose what fight to fight again. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to pay attention a little bit more and read more. I just feel like this is just a pattern I see time and time again where I want to read less. I don't want to, because it's just one thing over and over again. It seems to me like the Israeli government just, all they need to do is point at something, accuse that thing of being an existential threat, and then the entire world stands by as several sovereign territories in the area are bombed to smithereens. And then it doesn't stop until the threat is declared taken care of. So whatever. But, whereas we look deeper and deeper into this stuff to say, project 10, 20 years into the future and And we tend to be a little bit more prone to trying to dig out bigger conspiracies in everything because big conspiracies exist. Number one. Number two, we're prone to not trust anything that's given to us by authoritative sources. But for other people, and especially people like Bill Maher and others in those circles who are trying to kind of like keep their cool while everybody else is losing theirs, it's hard for people to deny that there's a little bit more than moderate success coming out of DC. If you're not looking at all of the miles beneath the surface and just being depressed by what I don't know. There's always rabbit holes that take all of the joy out of everything. So I just think it's interesting to take a look at how other people are really taking all this in stride. I saw those clips from The View where Cheryl Hines was on The View defending her husband, RFK Jr., against the cheesecake eating hags over there, where Sonny Holston and the rest are like, your husband is the least the least qualified, and he's not even a doctor. And she's like 90% of all of the HHS secretaries have not been doctors. I don't know. They have like a ventriloquist. I feel like the Obama administration like hired ventriloquists for everything. So there's that going on. It's just interesting just to watch that, because notably we've been taking a little bit of a break from too much of the headlines, but it seems like we really haven't missed much, aside from all the anti-ICE protests and everything else, and the media trying to rebrand Antifa to make it seem like they're just a bunch of furry trolling goofballs, and they never really meant any harm, and we were just imagining a threat that wasn't there. So that's where we are right now. And if you want to call in with anything else later on, you most certainly can. So here's another thing I wanted to bring up. We're going over to NBC News because this is where we start our little chain of stories that really have a lot to do with the state of the internet right now and the way that identities are verified. And here we go. Let's just go right into it. Instagram says it's overhauling how teens experience the app, making it more PG-13. After outrage over teens' well-being on Instagram erupted, the company said it would adopt the film industry's approach to content and aim to give teens a PG-13 experience. Instagram said on Tuesday that it would overhaul its approach to teenagers' accounts and try to crack down on their access to objectionable content after a firestorm of bad publicity over how teens use the social media app. Instagram, which is owned by Meta, announced a series of changes that said were aimed at making teens' experience on Instagram similar to viewing PG-13 movies, with equivalent restrictions on sexualized content and other adult material. Well, I wouldn't mind them having a little bit harder time accessing all of the ass-shaking insanity that's going on Instagram. Finally, I don't get that much on my front page anymore. I had to ignore God knows how many hundreds of things have popped up, but I feel like it could just be where all my likes are now. How all of it has to be that. You have to just be very conscious of what you're blocking, you don't want to see more of, and then you have to just really make sure that you really just like everything. Like everything that you can that reflects what you want to see. That's the obvious, which is why my Instagram feed has other problems. Not ass shaking, but it has other problems right now. You could ask Lauren. It has other problems, but maybe I'll do a little bit more of those later on. I like doing some extra reels and reactions on extra innings on the flip side. But anyway, the age gating. Listen to this. New restriction that Instagram said it would adopt is called age gating. If an Instagram account regularly shares content that is age inappropriate, for example, content related to alcohol or links to pornographic sites, then the company said it will block all teen accounts from being able to see or chat with that account. The age gating could apply even to celebrities or other widely followed adult accounts, Instagram said, but it did not say precisely where it would draw the line for adult accounts that do not want to be age gated. How could adult accounts be? Are you talking about how would adult accounts that do not want to, you mean you're talking about the adult content creators that don't want to be age gated? A company representative said sharing one piece of age inappropriate content would not be enough for an adult-run account to lose access to teen audience. Weird, huh? Even though it doesn't always have to be porn, and there's not to say that teenagers are not should not be able to listen to adult conversations, especially if it's. I'm not talking about sex, but just adult conversation, adult humor. Whatever. It's you're right there. I don't know, at 14, 15, 16 years old. Yeah, I'd be wanting to see what all the big kids are doing, what they're watching, all that stuff. So that'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. We have a new term though, age gating. And I'm telling you, It doesn't say. It seems like it's very, very pinpointed right here. But I told you before, the golden age of Instagram is right now. The golden age of Instagram is right now. I don't know how long it's going to keep up like this, where it's really just it's one of the more free platforms out there. It's easy to find great stuff. It's easy to grow channels. So much of it is organic, and but again, all good things come to an end, as we have seen. So there you go, age gating. Now, here's another one for you. Over on Twitter, there are some upcoming changes as of today. As of today, October 15th, 2025, AI-powered feed overhaul. This is what's happening on Twitter as of today. Full AI-driven timeline by November 2025 is going to be in effect, reducing duplicates and bots. Users can customize feeds via Grok queries by December. That's pretty interesting. Reducing duplicates. Is that duplicate tweets? Because of course that's what people have seen in so many instances where there'll just be hundreds, if not thousands, of accounts that are saying the exact same thing. It's obvious, coordinated, and it's non-human. So there's a plus. Profile transparency boost. New information display. Join date, location and country, previous usernames, and sign-up method. That starts next week on test profiles. Privacy toggles will be available. Okay, so that's not going to be publicly displayed. Previous usernames. And what the hell does sign-up method mean? Like through the app or through the... So I'm talking blocking feature is updated here. Blocked accounts can view public posts but not interact. For greater transparency. Rolling out soon. They cannot interact. See, I liked it when you block somebody and they can't see what you're posting, nor can they interact with you. I don't understand what that is. That's all about. Perhaps for public figures, maybe if it's for government accounts, if you are a representative. I know that what was it? It were people who were blocked. It was years ago when Trump was first in office and he was blocking people from his account. But once he became president, people were like, the president of the United States can't block me. I'm a constituent. And I forgot what happened there. If all those blocks were reversed. But I don't know. I think if you block somebody, they shouldn't be able to see shit. Text to video integration, hot shot AI tool for premium users, direct generation feature incoming as workaround. So they're starting to do their own text to video integration there too. You can just create videos. Enhanced creator tools. Let's see here. thumbs up, like button, video response tab, payment. Okay, algorithm tweaks, updated tweet crypt. What is this? Oh, I don't know. But the real thing there is whether or not this new info display is going to be mandated, and whether or not that'll give people a lot more information that they can take off of Twitter by and large of who's using it. You know, that's pretty big there too. So it seems like there's going to be a little bit more verification. Elon Musk has talked a lot about identity of the user, and verifying identity of internet users in the past has not been very good. Not good to me. It doesn't sound good to me. You know, the internet is a weird, anonymous place, but it can. I think that the opposite extreme of that is worse. I think that if the internet is free and fully anonymous, if you can choose to be anonymous, at least, I think that is better than, of course, the opposite, which you're held accountable for everything that you say in that forum, and it is all directly tied to you, and you're just talking about identity. It's so many. It's just crazy. It's great. And then, of course, on top of all that stuff is mob mentality and people's interpretation of what you said. So, yeah, the anonymity, as anonymity slips away, that's an issue. Now, here's another thing I wanted to put to the tail end of everything else. Now we're going over to OpenAI ChatGPT and that other weirdo, Sam Altman. We were talking about him and others with Ryan Gable not too long ago. Sam Altman says ChatGPT will soon sext with verified adults. Verified adults. Now, here was 2 months ago. This has gotten around. This has gotten around a little bit. The Citizen Free Press put this out just to remind everybody of where Sam Altman was on things like this just 2 months ago during an interview. Listen to this. Listen to this. 33 seconds.
There's a lot of short-term stuff we could do that would really juice growth or revenue or whatever. And
hate his voice. Don't you hate his voice? I don't understand this. This is the vocal fry for men. They all have the same. Look at those eyes. Damn. What the hell's going on here, man? The vocal fry, the gurgle voice. The gurgle voice.
really like juice growth or revenue or whatever.
Really like juice growth. Really like juice growth, revenue, whatever. Ribbity-dee.
And be very misaligned with that long-term goal. And I'm proud of the company and how little we get distracted by that, but sometimes we do get tempted.
Are there specific examples that come to mind?
So, if you didn't hear it, just because it's hard to, I mean, he was talking about how there's a lot of short-term stuff that they could be doing to, as he said, juice growth and really get people, more and more people using their platform and create a little bit more of a spectacle of the tools rather than just saying, hey, ChatGPT is a new form of, search engine and, proofreader and all this other stuff. But, to do all those things would be misaligned with what they want to do long term.
Or whatever, and be very misaligned with that long-term goal. And I'm proud of the company and how little we get distracted by that, but sometimes we do get tempted.
Yeah, so he said we haven't been distracted by going outside of our long-term goals for what we have over here at OpenAI and working on all the little things that we know could juice growth and revenue by pulling people in and giving them new toys to play with and all that other stuff that we get tempted by, but we really don't do. And she says, can you give us an example of what you were tempted by, but you have not done?
Are there specific examples that come to mind? Any decisions that you've made?
Well, we haven't put a sex bot avatar in ChatGPT yet.
That does seem like it would get time spent.
Apparently it does.
I'm going to ask my next question.
Yeah, not going to touch that one. Yuck, yuck. So they haven't put a sex bot in there yet. That was 2 months ago. And that would have been a distraction to juice growth and to revenue. And of course, because we have a mental illness, we have a mental health crisis, big time, a multifaceted, multi-layered mental health crisis in this country right now. Loneliness all over the place. Loneliness, relationships are in turmoil. And he scoffs at this, and then I had to know that two months later that this was going to be coming out. But don't worry, it's for verified adults. So whatever happens, they asked for it. OpenAI will bring Erotica to ChatGPT once it rolls out age verification in December. OpenAI will soon allow Erotica for ChatGPT users who verify their age on the platform. In an X post on Tuesday, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said that the company will add support for mature conversations when it launches age gating, there you go, in December. Here it is. Sam Altman. We made ChatGPT pretty restrictive to make sure that we were being careful with mental health issues. We realized this made it less useful and enjoyable to many users who had no mental health problems, but given the seriousness of the issue, we wanted to get this right. Now that we have been able to see, here's the thing. Do you feel, I guess I'll just save this for afterwards. Now that we have been able to mitigate the serious mental health issues and have new tools, we are going to be able to safely relax restrictions in most cases. So we've got a handle on all of the United States and the rest of the world's mental health issues. Supposedly close to 8 billion people in the world, and we understand how each one of them tick. In a few weeks, we plan to put out a new version of ChatGPT that allows people to have a personality that behaves more like what people liked about 4.0. We hope it will be better. If you want your ChatGPT to respond in a very human-like way or use a ton of emoji or act like a friend, ChatGPT should do it, but only if you want it, not because we are usage maxing. Oh, wow. Very, very cool. The Gen Z terms. Trying to stay relatable. These technocrat creeps. In December, as we roll out age gating more fully and as part of our adult users like adults principle, we will allow even more, like Erotica for verified adults. My question is this. When you say there are users out there who have mental health issues, and we know that ChatGPT was less useful and enjoyable to many users who had no mental health issues. Well, what was it then? What was it now? What is it right now that makes it less enjoyable to people without mental health issues? The people without mental health issues are largely a lot more connected to their community, to real friends, to real family, largely treating their bodies better, the way that they eat, the way that they drink, the way that they avoid substances that are not degrading them, mind and body, the way that they're outside and being active with their body. I mean, those are the people who have far less mental health issues. So I don't understand what current version of ChatGPT or any kind of a portal like it is going to be less enjoyable to them when they're already getting anybody who has had. I mean, I'd have to imagine that those people are getting legitimate and authentic enjoyment out of the more real things in life, and they're not trying to supplement so much of what is good in life through whatever kind of tools that you are subscribed to online. So what the hell about? So I mean, I also have to imagine that people with no mental health problems are probably able to read an erotic novel if they wanted to get that, or perhaps go out on a date and date somebody possibly even have sex with a human being, maybe start a family and have children. I mean, I just don't understand this kind of talk. We realized this made it less useful and enjoyable to many users who had no mental health problems. Making ChatGPT restrictive to make sure that they were careful with those who had mental health issues. How is it restricted? I mean, it's one thing to say, hey, this will help you solve problems. It'll help you understand math equations or help you research a term page. You want to fact check something. You want to use it as a little bit more of an intelligent, a search engine. But this whole thing, like ChatGPT's got to give it to you like a friend. This whole relationship building thing, that's how you're going to take people with no mental health problems and give them mental health problems. This is so fucking inverted and weird. And I'm not against the technology itself. I run things through Grok. I've never actually used ChatGPT. I don't know what powers Google, but whenever I throw some question into Google, I see that there's an AI answer similar to how Grok does it. But I have no problem, throwing bits of information at something to see if I can get a new lead on some other things that I could read. But this whole relationship building thing is nuts. And in December, we roll out age gating more fully. And as part of our treat adult users like adults principle, we allow even more, like erotica for verified adults. You think about all the ways that this technology like this, and companies like OpenAI refuse to treat adults like adults. There's so many things we can't joke about. There's so many things we can't say, we can't ask. We just did an entire show, or a portion of a show last night, about algo speak and all the silly little goofy bullshit ways that everybody is talking like clowns on their streams to avoid being, I don't know, shadow banned, deplatformed altogether. Not to call people to violence or self-harm or anything like that, but to just talk about it. You want to talk about treat adults of users like adults. I mean, I think that this is so ridiculous. And it's part of the reason why we have mental health issues. Because there are so many people out there who probably don't even feel like they are comfortable going to real people to have conversations anymore. Because maybe they feel like they're going to be judged. That has to be the case for some people. I'm not going to broad stroke because I don't know, but there's just something so wrong about all this. But woven into all of these stories that we just did together, age gating, various types of digital verification for using all these things, and this relationship building with non-humans. It's just so strange, man. It really is. So back over here, and we're going to open up the lines in just a second. 914-200-0269. You get them fired up. Call in. Make sure that you're sober. And let's do this. Sam Altman said this and that. We roll out. OpenAI isn't the only company dipping into erotica. As Elon Musk's XAI previously launched flirty AI companions, which appear as 3D anime models in the Grok app. I didn't know that. Along with the addition of erotica, OpenAI also plans on launching a new version of ChatGPT that, quote, behaves more like what people liked about 4.0. I don't even know what that is. Just one day after making GPT-5 the default model powering ChatGPT, OpenAI brought back GPT 4.0 as an option for people who complained that the new model was less personable. That's fucked. Personable. You're going there to get some information. No, I need it to be told to me in a loving way. I need the news to be, because you know what, depending on how you approach it, like I really tested whether or not Grok would relent. What the hell was it? I was having a little bit of a debate with Grok about the what part of the Constitution was it? I think it was the 10th Amendment in general. It might have been the 10th Amendment, or I think that's what it was, but I forgot what news story in particular I was talking about. And I was going back and forth about how, hey, what's the issue here? And they're breaking it down by conservative and liberal and originalist. Oh, you're an originalist who believes that. I get it. Well, you're an originalist that believes that the Constitution as written is as it is. Blah blah blah. And I kept kind of like facing off with this damn thing to see if I was going to get any kind of relent with it. To say, no, this is not a matter of opinion, it's a matter of contracts. If you know anything about contracts, you go in and you lay down set terms with set definitions. There's indexes for everything, because you don't sign a contract. Multiple parties don't sign contracts with each other when all the definitions inside said contract are, living and breathing, that can evolve over time to meet the day-to-day whims of the parties that are involved. And eventually it agreed with me. But if I were coming from the liberal, the progressive standpoint, the Constitution hating standpoint, the living and breathing document standpoint, and I wanted Grok to agree with me, I'm sure I could have gotten that too. And that's what I think is something that's really something else you got to take note of when people are complaining that, one version of this tool is less personable than the other side. They probably are looking for something that is going to, again, confirm your bias, and to also, praise you for your insight along the way. So that's just nuts. OpenAI has also announced the formation of a council on well-being and AI to help shape OpenAI's response to complex or sensitive scenarios. The council is comprised of a team of 8 researchers and experts who study the impact of technology and AI on mental health. So you guys let me know how this has all made you feel. I'm going to take a really quick break in maybe a little while, or maybe I won't at all. Depending on how good the calls are, we can just keep going and skip the intermission altogether. Let's see. 785, you're on the air. Who dis?
Hey, Frank, it's the Sentinel. Good evening.
Sentinel, good to hear from you. What's on your mind? These are very fascinating topics.
They are. So it just occurred to me while we were listening to you this evening talking about this evolution with Chat GPT going to be kind of getting into the erotic area, that a lot of entertainment industry, other than old Hollywood, kind of started out with it come out, and in order for the market to grow, they would introduce pornography. And if pornography would proliferate, then it would proliferate other mediums. So case in point, VHS. So when VHS came out, we had, Blockbuster and whoever was before them as the local people. They'd always have that adult section in the back. And people were mail ordering all this porn. And then even as it went into DVDs, same thing. And then when the internet started, it was supposed to be helpful for all these education institutions to share research, but it wasn't too long before there were large repositories of nudes out there. And so just given that, I think this is them following that business model. I don't know that it's going to be successful. I'm not exactly excited about it. I don't even actually use much AI. When I go to Google and I do a search at work, I do choose to use Gemini to summarize the topic.
Gemini, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and so then I validate what it tells me by going to other resources to make sure it's on point. But generally, I find that Google Gemini it does a decent job of summarizing the topic. But in general, I mean, I don't use those. I've asked Grok a few questions, but I've probably used it less than 15 times. But Molly likes it. Molly already likes to use Grok. She's also used Midjourney. She's also used Chat GPT, but hearing the announcement tonight, she's not certain that she's going to continue that subscription. So thanks for bringing it up and telling us about it. And do you have any questions of me or follow up?
Oh no, I really loved your contribution, and I don't know how hard it is. I mean, I guess my big thing here is I don't know how much longer it's going to be until these tools that, Gemini, ChatGPT, Grok, I don't know how long it's going to be until these tools just are the search engines. Right now they are an add-on. They're essentially an add-on to whatever the hell it is, an extension of Google or one thing or another. But I mean, they do everything that Google. If you want them to list a number of links to stories about any topic that you want, that hit certain things from a certain way, read the topics for you, summarize them, it'll do everything. So I guess maybe there'll always be a utility for a traditional search engine, but I have a feeling like it's going to be pretty hard to avoid these things, as they're just going to be the next generation of search engine. I think that we're just in largely the testing phases before it absorbs all of that traffic.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that there is a utilitarian purpose for it. There's all this big push for AI in the marketplace, especially coming out of the White House. I think with this new announcement from Sam Altman, with the at least attempt to corner the religious vote and sensibilities, that there'll be some pushback from the White House on that at some point. But on the concept of do what's popular, they might give them a little leeway to see how prolific it goes, and if it seems unpopular with the base, I'm sure they'll come out against it.
Well, thank you again, Sentinel, for the contribution. Send my best to Molly, and have a great night.
Yep, you too. Thanks.
Okay. Let's take some more on that. 914-200-0269. It's a good point. I mean, I don't it's going to be up to the user to know what they want and not want to get into anything else, into the relationship aspect of it, or who's telling you what. I changed the voice of the whatever the hell is giving me my driving directions when I have the GPS. I changed it to a man's voice instead of the British woman, but that's not for any other reason than I just couldn't take her voice anymore. 978, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, it's Reno from Massachusetts. What up, dog?
What's going on? You got to turn that off, my friend. It's good to have you on, though.
I can't believe I got through.
Yes,
dude. I'm the one. Parteria, I emailed you a couple years ago. You never heard of it, but anyways, dude, we're talking about AI, right?
Yeah.
So the past weekend, I don't listen to music anymore. I listen to your podcast, well, live, not podcast. Ryan Gable, InfoWars. That's my day. That's my entire day. Music sucks. I haven't listened to music in like a decade, right?
What?
Yeah, music sucks. There's no good bands anymore. Nobody likes that garbage, like even Britney Spears is better than the crap that's out now.
So then why aren't you listening? But that's what I'm talking about. That's what's giving me pause. Then why aren't you listening to at least Britney Spears? Like you don't listen to any music?
Here's the thing, right? I just discovered everybody's throwing up music on YouTube. It's just look up AI Reimagined. So you could take all your old songs that you grew up with. I'm almost 50 now. So all, 90s rock, whatever. The AI, it literally takes 2 minutes. All these people I follow on YouTube, it's called Suma or something, some AI they use. So you just click and paste the lyrics. And the thing automatically, within 2 minutes, it gives you a couple versions of whatever genre say, like, for example, this past weekend, I was born in Detroit. You know, I'm around Motown, so I'm playing Rage Against the Machine.
Okay, well yeah, let's get to the point on this because I want to hear your AI thoughts.
But basically, AI it's going to put a lot of people out of business. Hollywood, musicians, and if musicians are smart, they're going to use the AI to reimagine their old songs, and then maybe they'll print it out and actually perform it live. Because I'm telling you right now, these AI songs are getting like millions of views within like a week. Hollywood, they're all in trouble, dude. They're done. Nobody cares about the garbage they're putting out. Let's take the old songs, put it into another genre that we like.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was talking with my brother not too long ago, and it was actually just a couple of what was it? It was just a couple of days ago, and he was actually talking about some of these people out there who are taking all these old songs, they're reimagining them into 50s doo-wops or whatever the hell it is, and they're pumping out these AI albums, and they're raking in.
Musicians, embrace it. You can't defeat it. Just embrace it.
I don't see that embracing. That embracing's not happening. No, that embracing is not happening. I don't think. Like I said,
stop it. You can't stop it. And like I said, I haven't listened to music in a decade. I've been listening to music all weekend. All my old songs I grew up with.
That's what I'm asking.
Dark country. Any song in dark country is awesome.
Well, that's what I asked. I asked if you were listening to music. Thank you for the call. I couldn't believe that over the last 10 years he hadn't listened to any music. So he meant new music. So that's good. Stopping it, I don't have any thoughts about stopping it. Has something happened to the YouTube? Let me see here. Has something happened to the YouTube? Because I'm getting text messages from people, including my mother, saying that there is something wrong. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's seeing it. Something going on there. It's all good? Okay, good. All right, whatever. Mine's fine, only for some people. Well, Mom, just, I don't know, reload the page. I see my mother sent me she sent me a screenshot. There's, quite frankly, age gating, OpenAI, sexting, group chat leaks, and more. Tonight's show. And so I see she's under there, but right underneath is a screenshot of probably one of a suggested video that is being sent her way by YouTube. It's called rotator cuff rehabilitation because my mother is getting her shoulder replaced on Tuesday. She's getting a little nervous, so when you see her, just give her some encouragement. She's going to be fine. But, she's just kind of like counting down the days and looking for things to do around the house and all that stuff and just kind of like twiddling her thumbs here. So I just think that's funny that underneath the show, something happened, quite frankly. But here, watch this rotator cuff rehabilitation video. Anyway, that's that. As far as the Massachusetts caller goes, I'm not looking for in any way to defeat anything. I don't think that that's not the point of the show. It was more so the age verification and identity verification aspects of people using platforms. OpenAI, the ChatGPT is outside of people using Twitter. That's a microblogging site. There's AI aspects to it now. There's Twitter, there's Instagram. I mean, for the average person, being on the internet is living on these apps, and just to see more and more of real world identification, verification, little aspects coming into them, That's like, that's the thing that backs you into a corner a little bit more. That's the thing that backs you into a corner a little bit more, that exposes you a little bit more, especially since that is the internet. Most people would not know what to do if they weren't on one app or another. Some people spend all their time on one app. I was just on Twitter. Actually, the day that I decided, hey, you know what? That's right. With Twitch, it was over the weekend. I was playing a little, Star Wars Battlefront on like Sunday afternoon. It was raining outside. Everybody's just hanging around. We're waiting for dinner to be done and all that stuff. So let me go live real quick. And there was this guy from the UK that came into the Quite Frankly live chat on Twitch, and he said, "Hey man, it's been a long time. Do you still do the nightly show where people call in?" And I said, "You mean the night? Yeah, I do. It's the nightly show. That's what I do." And he said, "Oh wow, haven't seen you on in a while." I said, "Whoa." I said to myself, "Wow, this guy." And whatever, if Twitch is your thing, if that's where you get all of your media or whatever, but this guy, if I was not live on Twitch, my show ceased to exist. If it wasn't on Twitch, it didn't exist. And you think about just one app, how an app and the service it's connected to, that's like a gated community on this vast ocean. That is the internet. That is as deep as it is wide. And most people are just hanging out on these little apps. And that put things in perspective to me on a couple of levels. Number one, that was the thing that actually made me wonder, hey, wait a second, why aren't I going live on Twitch now that the last 2 weeks or so I have absolutely no copyright issues with my show? So I got to thank that guy for that kind of like light bulb moment. But the other thing there too was just thinking about how cordoned off everybody is and how hard it is, once again, to get people to leave one website to go to another. It really is just like, oh, sorry to see you leaving YouTube. It was nice knowing you. Like there's a lot of people out there that are like that. I'm like, holy shit. Especially when you're tuning into content like this and you're trying to connect larger dots and try to identify powers that need to be supplanted and all that other stuff. I mean, to say goodbye to anybody like me or somebody that does a show like this because they leave Alphabet, they leave Google, and they go somewhere else, somewhere that's smaller, more independent, more free speech, and you still say, sorry, I just know I can't learn how to use any other website. Sorry. Like, I was like, wow. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot to think about. So yeah, wherever you can go live, you got to go live. But there is a huge world outside of these apps. But the fact that so many people are corralled onto these apps, and now they're starting to lose more and more opportunities to remain anonymous. It's not too bad right now. It's not a 4-alarm fire just yet. But the age gating, little different verification things, you'll see it more and more. All right, let's take another call. 262, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, this age gating sounds a lot like a first step to digital ID, similar to what they have over in China.
Well, yeah. I mean, how are you going to? That's what I'm saying. It's a little piece. It's nothing that in and of itself is going to cause anybody to get really alarmed, especially when you take it in the context that Instagram is taking it, where they're saying we're age gating to make sure that teenagers aren't getting, TikTok, OnlyFans models on their feeds constantly, or we want to try to reduce that kind of exposure to pornographic material. You look at that and you're like, okay, that's almost like saying, hey, we want to put RFID chips inside of your poodles so that if your poodles run away, we know exactly where they are. Say, all right, well, a lost dog. And then all of a sudden it's just like, well, don't you want to put an RFID chip inside of your baby? So if they're ever kidnapped, you know exactly where they are. It's like the slow creep,
I I don't know if you came across this story, but a few years back, a company in Milwaukee, where I'm not too far from, they implemented, if you want to get in the building, you don't have a badge around your neck anymore. You're on a chip in your hand.
Yeah.
So they made a little bit of noise.
Well, there's been quite a bit. I know I have friends, personal friends of mine who we all work together at the same gym, and this started happening quite a few years after I left that gym, and I started training privately, and then eventually this show became my full time. But a few years after I left this gym that me and a few of my friends were all employed at, they started doing things like hand scanning and iris scanning. And
when was that roughly?
Oh man, I would have to say that we're looking at 2016, 17, around there. Maybe that was it. Iris scanning at a gym. You know, it's one thing to press your thumb to a finger plate. I mean, they had already started doing all of the, people putting their thumbs onto their phone screens, and that was the way that it was unlocking. I'm sure it's still available on some phones and operating systems right now too. But I had quite a few friends who were conscientious objectors when it came to allowing their eyes to be scanned to get into the gym.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
And I thought I heard something a while back also around that same time that Walmart has facial scanners at their causeways where you enter and leave the store. I heard that several years ago.
Well, I don't know. I haven't been in. I don't really go to Walmart. I think I've only been in there a couple of times. We have like Targets and stuff around here, and I would never go into a place that needs to scan my face. But at the same time, it almost doesn't even matter when you think about how many cameras are trained on every exit and every entrance. Your face is being logged and categorized. So gait recognition programs know how you walk. If you become a person of interest, we were learning about this well over 10 years ago now when we were looking into Prism and all those other programs. It wasn't just about facial recognition. It was gait recognition, that if you have a slight limp because you have an uneven left leg. I mean, if you become a person of interest, they'll be able to find you even if you have a moderate disguise on.
Yeah, and that's old special forces would use that. They would try to analyze back in the Soviet days and World War II days, the spying. There was always look for this kind of walk, or if this guy's got a wooden leg, you'll hear it clunking, all that kind of stuff. And now it's just being digitalized and pushed on us.
Yeah.
Everybody, not just for war purposes.
Well, thank you for the contribution. It was a good point there about social credit. It is a piece, and of course, like most things of a Fabian style, it's going to be happening slowly but surely, and never in one fell swoop. 914-200-0269. Let me take a break right here just to say, ladies and gentlemen, we're about 38% of the way from being able to hit our 2025 funding goals over here on Quite Frankly on Subscribestar in particular. That was one thing that is going right toward the production goal. We're not too far away. I don't care where you become a sponsor of the show. I was focusing on Subscribestar because it has a progress bar there. And once we hit that, then we can start striving toward the big goal, which is doubling our budget to be able to start doing really amazing things like traveling, like bringing in guests from across the country or the world, flying them in, being able to put them in a room for a night that isn't a hostel where their eyes will be removed. Those are the types of things I want to do. And I just say, if you love the show, if you're new to it, or if you're old to it, then by all means, become a small sponsor, $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever. You know what? Here, I'll put it to you this way. Subscribestar and Patreon. Those $10 a month tiers, the mailbag tiers, are fantastic. You know why? Because it's not a lot of money, number one. You could probably sustain it for a while. And number two, it comes with super chats built into it. So if you're of the mindset that, hey, I just throw some super chats out there, well, become a $10 a month sponsor and you'll be able to just send me direct messages and say, hey, here's my super chat for tonight or something like that. And you can submit those. It's almost like going to a bar and you get drink tickets. There you have it. And on top of that, no matter where you sign up, we get your address. We send you keto brain samples. Lauren sends you an envelope where I have a handwritten note in there with you. I throw in a Polaroid, with stickers, whatever the hell else. So you get a nice little welcome package there from Keto Brainz and everything else. If you want to try Keto Brainz, let me know. Also remember, last thing I'll say is that the promo code TREAT. There are 2 links in the description of the episode of both of Molly's websites, the Peptides website and also Keto Brainz. She's going to name a winner from both websites. One person from each site that buys anything with the promo code TREAT or any other, quite frankly, promo code over there on any order that is over $39 is going to be put in the running for a year supply of product from either site. We're talking about $1,000 of stuff. That's crazy. Of incredible product, health promoting, brain boosting product. And if you want to try it, let me know. Email me, frank@quitefrankly.tv, and I'm going to pay for not only the samples, but the shipping, and you enjoy it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Thank you, Molly, and thank you to Keto Brainz. That's all. I got to spend at least a couple of minutes trying to help myself out over here because I want to remain free and independent and growing and making our own breaks. So thank you so much. Okay, let's get to the super chats, and we'll wait for some more calls to come in. First one up. And remember, who you send in a super chat tonight, and I'm going to pull a name and see who wins one of the classic Flip Cities that features me in there. The first time ever I was in a print publication. You're going to get my band's 2017 release. You're going to become cross buddies with me, as Wart Guy just said over there. Cross buddies. I have one of these cross decals that's going to go on one of my cars, and you're going to get the other one. That, and I'll probably send in a note. I'll send you a note and some stickers and all that other stuff. So that's just for tonight. Send in a super chat, no matter where it is. Stove, thank you so much, my friend. Good to see you out there. JLT Report. Yeah, let me put. Oh, that is from Twitch. Cool. Hello Kitty says, hi Frank and Franklies. Finally living on our mountain in Tennessee. Hope everyone is doing great. By the way, why does AI get to take over good old-fashioned sexting? Talk to you all later, little darlings. Oh, it's not going to take over anything. There ain't nothing like sexting with a real person. Sexting. Talk about words that would make somebody from the middle of the 20th century go, excuse me? Pardon? Sexting? What is that? Oh, let me tell you a story about the downfall of mankind. Take a seat. Dick pic? Pardon? Let's see here. KD33 says, Frank, I think Altman's sex bot avatar comment is supposed to be a dig at Elon more than anything. Grok had that scantily clad blonde anime character. Thanks for another episode. That was definitely the dig. That was the dig because, I know that they've been at it with each other ever since the announcement of the Stargate thing back in February or whatever it was, January. But that's obviously not where it ends. I mean, he goes on to say that through age verification, you're going to be able to open up all types of personality features, including erotica. Okay, that's somebody talking back to you and whatever. Tell me a story. Tell me a story in a female Australian voice. What accent spoken in English? Let's put this in the chat room. I'm going to watch just the general chat on this one. What accent would ruin any erotic story for you, spoken in English, not in the native language. Take the accent, the German accent, the Australian accent, Chinese, whatever the hell it is. What accent, an English with a foreign accent would ruin any erotic story being told to you? Paint Drop says Scottish. I'm just going to read a Scottish, Chinese, Indian, Russian or German, Scottish accent, Indian. Indian, German, Congolese. Oh, they're coming in now. New Zealand is the worst accent, says Emma Romo. Hello Kitty says British, Chinese, Indian, Northeastern U.S. accent. What the hell are you talking about? Me? You wouldn't want... What are you talking? Me? Are you talking me? Or are you talking about like Massachusetts? Because I'd agree with you on that one. I'd agree with you on that one. You have to be a little bit more precise with Northeastern U.S. accent. That is not we're not monolithic up here. Erica Rommel says Aussie, Australian, Newfoundland, flat out. Let's see here. East Indian. CP Topher says total flaming gay accent. That's right. I guess that is a foreign accent. Total flaming gay accent. Doesn't matter where the hell they're from. Jamaican. Afghanistan, Afghani. Let's see. Chinese Tourette's. Canadian, German, Cockney, pops and clicks, Indian, no doubt. So it sounds like India and Germany actually got it. Nikki says Frank has to read us erotica to prove him wrong. Oh, well, Nikki, see, I know you've been around for a while, Nikki, but I guess you haven't been around that long. Back in... When the hell was it? I remember we took turns in the first studio. Everybody would read a passage every night. It was hilarious, especially when we would have Mike read anything. It'd be funny because Mike he's not a good reader. He can read decent, but when he reads out loud and in front of people, it just screws him all up and it just always deteriorates. And there was a time there that we took submissions from the audience, the most ridiculous passages from those 50 Shades of Grey books, horrendously written. And we would read that. And it would be hilarious, especially when Mike would read it. I have to go try. Maybe I could try to find those. Let's see here. Let's see. Imagine a leprechaun talking dirty, says EG451 on Twitch. Point taken. Point taken. Total flaming gay. New Hampshire accent. They're not that bad. They're not that bad. Boston is like, oh God. Here we go. Here we go. It's one of them. Just kidding. I got a lot of friends in Boston these days. Polynesian. Like what, Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Or Moana? Aurora would love that. Let me see here. Poke fun at dyslexics. If we had a dyslexic person read erotica, I would like that. Anybody out there that is dyslexic that would like to read a passage from Shades of Grey? Hey, you know what? You guys should send me a passage from 50 Shades of Grey. I'll read it in the after hours. I'll read it on the flip side. I like taking little things like that. In fact, another thing I was going to do on the flip side one of these nights is I was going to play another game that we haven't played in a long time on any show that we've done. We used to play Crazy Libs, Mad Libs on the air. And I would take a Mad Libs story and I would just tell people I need an adjective, I need a verb, past tense this, whatever the hell it is, nouns, whatever the hell they are. I would give people, I would say, hey, and everybody would just flood shit in the chat room, and I would take the weirdest thing or the most out of place thing, or I don't know, creative. Sometimes it would just be mundane, and I would throw it in there, and then we would read the story that we'd make together. We're going to do that again too. I want to do that on the flip side. Let's see. Frank reading erotica. He's really working for that cash. Well, you know what? Twitch. You want to talk about Twitch? Another reason why I said, hey, why not? Why not bring the show back on Twitch, especially since all my copyright issues are all done? You go to the front page of Twitch, there's usually a 275-pound woman sitting there with cat ears on and her G-cup tits spilling out over. You can just start seeing the edge of her areola. I can't believe this. And I'm sitting over here going, oh, well, I don't want to cross the line. Good Lord. Good Lord. Everybody wearing cat ears and the tits spilling out. And here I am just reading a little 50 Shades of Grey. So what? Just guys getting together and just some reading some D- grade erotica. Why can't I have a little fun? Those G cups over there. Hell's happening. Give me that shit. I'll give you a chat GPT. Let's see here. Running on Empty says, I love the video of Zach RP78 that was watching. Yeah, about the Muffin Gate. It's a piece of internet lore now. Let's take a call. 817, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank, this is Cloud9.
Cloud9, good to hear from you. Okay, thoughts. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when it comes to artificial intelligence and just sort of what you've been covering with the erotica stuff, I think we're just getting closer to that Blade Runner 2049 outcome, where pretty much human dependence on relationships is kind of delegated to this AI version of a holographic, non-existent relationship. And I think we're just kind of getting closer to that. And then when you're talking about, their surveillance state as relates to China, at least the difference between here in the States and China is that they're advancing technologically to the point where they're incorporating nanotechnology into soldiers. At least that's what the current director of national intelligence and the CIA director have been talking about, with China trying to produce capabilities for soldiers, like biologically enhanced capabilities.
Yeah.
Such as like cognitive abilities, mental resilience, increased endurance, because they're trying to be focused on intelligent warfare and integration of that technology, get this, by 2049. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. That's a pretty interesting year, especially since all of the 2030 initiatives are supposed to be put in place by 2050, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Isn't that supposed to be? Well, I mean, we've been hearing about the off the book pursuit of super soldiers for a long time, whether they are going to be enhanced by drugs or cybernetics or anything else. And then, of course, there is always just how do we enhance cognitive abilities and allow a human being to essentially merge the authentically sentient part of them with a super intelligent computer that can never be sentient. How can we merge that together so that they can in some way control an army, a mechanized army from afar? Because I think that's where we're going more and more here. There's so much more robotics on the battlefield, as we have seen reported out of Ukraine, with all the drones and everything else. Like, this is I think they said the vast majority of casualties, or the vast majority of losses, have been all by robots and stuff like that. It's nuts. So it could just be that could be an aspect of it. I really think that that human beings are not. It's not something that you can really just make us obsolete and just do away with us. You're going to need some aspect of us to be around and to kind of merge, because we've got the spark that AI will never be able to have. So I think people who are obsessed with bringing that kind of a future to the table, I think that's what they're aiming at. I think ultimately it's very pie in the sky, and I'd love to see them undercut.
Well, and to kind of add to that, I was just thinking about this. You know, I've been watching not watching, rather, playing, MGS4 in Metal Gear Solid 4, and it talks about how once the nanomachines have been introduced into all the soldiers, they're basically easily controllable. They can be brainwashed, but there's a flip side to that where they're able to get basically supernatural powers like telekinesis, and they can move things with their mind. So my thought process is, okay, well, once this is introduced on the battlefield, how much humanity do you still retain? Do you still have free will? Are you able to make decisions on your own? Or are you going to be acting on behalf of your state-sponsored government? And then with that comes the supernatural aspect. Will there come a time where you're actually able to bend the laws of nature and gravity and, basically, I guess for lack of a better term, be able to earthbend, right? And having telekinesis and other such supernatural powers as well.
Earthbending. That's where would that come from, though? Where would that come from? You can't generate. I don't think. I would like to hear somebody come up with a theory as to how something along a telekinetic level could be a telekinetic experience could be generated from just machinery. I feel like that is maybe that's where you would say that the machinery would enhance the human being to be able to unlock latent powers that we haven't developed yet, or maybe we were just it was turned off for us. So I don't know I don't know how that would really work out, because I don't see how you can, outside of creating electromagnetic forces and be able to move things around through electromagnetics. I don't see how true telekinetic, that is a psychic ability. I don't think you would need sentiency there. So if the theory is that you can create machinery that enhances a human and allows a human to unlock latent psychic abilities, that's one thing. But I don't see how a machine can grant itself that power if it, once again, it's only ever a machine. But thank you for the call, man. A lot to think about, as always.
Yep, absolutely. That's a good one, Frank.
I love the time that we spend with Cloud9. I know it's going to be good. I like that time spent with Cloud9. What do you think about that? Well, that's something. 8:32. All right, let's see some more of these super chats while people call in. Chris Hill, 2024 on Rumble, says, hey, this is a children's show. Thomas Halverson says, evening, Franklies. Evening to both of you. Thank you so much. And then Wart Guy, that's Paul. Hello, Frank. Put me in the running. I want to be your cross brother. And don't forget, we need to plan a Frankly softball game next spring. Either a softball game. Listen, I have a perfect place. I told Jay that if we did some kind of a spring jamboree, I have a perfect place. There is a park around here. There's a little mansion on the park that we can use for an entire day of just eating and fun. And it has so much space. There's a volleyball place. There's a huge field with a softball diamond on it. There's a playground for children. I don't know if, softball, that's the one thing. If I organize a softball game, obviously there'd have to be a lot of waivers signed. So I was thinking, would it be softball or could we just play wiffle ball? Because I think wiffle ball is awesome too. And you can use the entire field, and then essentially like a softball field that's all you need for wiffle ball. Because if you hit it into the grass, beyond the infield, into the grass, that is a legitimate home run in wiffle ball. And it's good. Nobody getting hit in the face, nobody getting, some weird hops on a poorly maintained infield. You get a weird hop, somebody busts their nose open, and then I have to listen to that shit. It's all your fault, Frank. Why didn't you think of you hit? I just play casually. You hit the ball too hard. Not me hitting the ball. I'd probably bunt the entire time because I don't want to have a liability. I think wiffle ball would be better if we were able to incorporate that in some kind of a spring jamboree. Anyway, like I said, it's going to be easier to do things here at home until I can get some other things in line. But anyhow, thank you for that, Wart Guy, and I've got you in the running. We're going to actually give this stuff away over here in a couple of minutes, so get your last super chats in. Amethyst Cat, thank you, says happy hump day. Delona, thank you. Sentinel says, follow a page on Facebook called Fake Music. Like the caller said, they reimagine popular song from the past in different genres. Yeah, you know what? They're interesting, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know, it's cheap. Like I heard somebody reimagine Korn's Freak on a Leash in some kind of a Motown style. And I was like, it's very interesting stuff. Now, if somebody had just produced it, if it was coming from human beings, I would give them a lot of credit. But at the same time, it's just the novelty is going to wear off. And again, you have people who are just typing in some prompts and they are releasing full albums onto Spotify that are getting millions of listens. And I guess it's generating music for money for somebody. And the real question is, who does that money belong to? The person who put in the prompts or the company that created the actual program itself? Anyway, let's see here. Sentinel says most of them have been really good. I heard a Motown version of Detroit Rock City. It was solid. Yep. I heard a Motown or something version of Please put me on that list, says Safety Net. I got you in there. Vesper, I got you in too, says count me in, Frank. Sentinel says, I want to give a shout out to Signals. After 2 months, 3 bags, I have lost 11 pounds. I just signed up for a monthly subscription. Sentinel, do me a favor, copy and paste that and anything else you want to say about Signals and email it to me, because Chanel from Signals is going to be on the show. I wanted to bring her back on because she's so smart, and I wanted to talk to her about consciousness. And of course, at some point there, I want to thank her for what Signals contributed. I mean, especially in product, gave so much of it away, and it's so good. I'm using it now too. I'm mixing it with other proteins, and sometimes that's just what I have as my last meal. Supper. That's what I have for supper. We were talking about that in on the flip side last night. The difference between dinner and supper. And I got that sometimes my supper is a really, really well-prepared shake, and Signals is right there in the middle of it. He says, I've enjoyed the Elevation Blend from Coffee Revolution, and the personal touch Paige always does for each order. Molly Artie imagines Paige looks like Mrs. Soprano with Want a Cup of Coffee sticker. I have that Want a Cup of Coffee sticker framed. Lauren framed it, put it right above our coffee machine. But speaking of Molly, I want to put some attention on this. This is wonderful. Really wonderful. This is from Phil and Annie. I'm sorry, speaking of Paige, this is from Phil and Annie in the audience. And when we put out I'd love to get them into the Quite Frankly magazine when we launch that in spring. But here we go. Hey, Frank, I wanted to share a fun little detour that my wife and I took on our way back to Chicago from seeing our daughter at college. Davenport, Iowa, and the Coffee Revolution are conveniently located exactly halfway between our home and our daughter's college. So this past Sunday morning, we were hurrying back to Chicago to watch our son's last football game of the season. We decided to take a slight detour off the highway and pop in to visit Quite Frankly affiliate in person. As we pulled into our parking spot, I paused the October 9th episode featuring Tracy Bean so that we can pick back up when we got out onto the road. When we walked inside, we encountered a bustling coffee shop with a modern but cozy feel to it. We stepped into a line that stretched to the door, but it moved quickly as the cashier and baristas adeptly worked their craft. When it was our turn to order, we asked if Paige was available, but found out that she typically only works weekdays. I was hoping to put a face to the name and thank her for the handwritten notes I'm accustomed to when ordering through the website and taking advantage of the free shipping with the promo code. That means we'll just have to stop by again and try to catch her next time that we travel that way. When she proceeded with the order, we proceeded to order 2 handcrafted caffeinated concoctions for the road, along with 2 bags of whole bean coffee that they kindly ground for us to use in our drip coffee machine at home. Before we left, we took a few pictures to commemorate our visit and share with you. Thank you for introducing us to delicious coffee and great people. Sincerely, Phil and Annie. And there it is. There's the coffee revolution. Let's revolt. What a nice place. And I sent this, and Phil and Annie, if you're listening right now, you lovely couple, you. I sent this email over to Paige, and she said it made her entire week. And that she's actually been working on weekends lately, so it's crazy that you guys missed each other because there's been so much other stuff going on over there. So I would say just get in touch with Coffee Revolution and make sure Paige is going to be working there when you swing by again. That's awesome. You can buy the coffee, the Keto Brainz, and the Quite Frankly merchandise, all on the merch dropdown on quitefrankly.tv. That's where you can also get the coffee mugs. Paige takes care of all those as well. So yes, start buying the Quite Frankly Franciscan and the Frankly in your life some nice, good feelings for the fall and the holidays. There you go. And if you stop by places like that, please take pictures and send it to me. I love it. And so did Paige. Molly says, I use Grok to make me sound nicer in communications when a customer rubs me the wrong way. Once I have a kind reply, I suddenly feel less stressed about it because sometimes I can ruin a day trying to figure out how to be kind. I'm with you, Molly. Very hard for me to be kind sometimes, especially when people are just trying to be unpleasant. And when I'm smartest, I step away from the keyboard and I just let myself chill out a little bit and relax. Or sometimes I'll write a scathing email, but I won't address it to anybody. And I'll just get it all out and say horrendous things. And then I won't send it. Or I'll accidentally send it to DLive or something like that, like I did back in the day. Let me see here. But yeah, Grok. And Molly's so sweet, too. Can't imagine her having a hard time being nice. I can't believe that. So there's a little something. It's something to consider. Everybody has their days. Tommy Jekyll says, I am full of curly mustard greens and country pork ribs. So full, says Tommy Jekyll. Well, I don't know what to say to that, but I'm jealous. Let me put Tommy on the list on namepicker.net. That's all I have for you right now. Okay. Shaunavision says, more bits for that cross. I got you in there, Shaunavision. And Jeannie Yankee fan over there on Twitch. I can't believe that I'm processing Twitch super chats, whatever the hell those bits mean. I can't believe it. Dean Lind says, the best show out there. Thank you so much. Dean Lind. Thank you, Dean. That's the first time I've seen Dean in the chat room. D-I-E-N. D-I-E-N, Lind. And then right behind that is, because we're going to be ending here soon, Dan Schumann says, great show. Dan, you're the man. It's great to have you out there. Dan Schumann. Okay, guys and gals, let's do this because I have to get off the show and I have to start up a little bit of a stream. Let's see who wins out of the 21 names I have here. You ready? And the winner is, you're not going to believe it, Wart Guy. Wart Guy wins. Look. There. Name picker winner. Drew it right up. Out of 20 names, Wart Guy got it. All right, everybody. Well, Paul, get in touch with me. Let me know what your address is. And I'm going to be able to bring, listen, I still have 2 more Flip Cities. I'll work them in over the course of the next couple of months because they're good things to give away for the winter. But I have so much stuff. I have all the Chris Ann Hall signed books over here. I have art. I have really interesting things like this. This was given to me. I thought these are cool. Wichita Brewing Company. Yeah, well, we have some koozies here, but this is really interesting. These are to give away. I think our buddy JR gave us these. These are survival bandanas. Survival bandanas, and they come exactly with I don't know how to use them, but they're, and I don't want to open it up to actually read. Maybe I will open it up because who cares? You'll take it anyway. But it tells you all the ways that this survival bandana could be used. Try to retrace your steps to your last. What the hell? So I don't know. I have to open this up. What I'll do is tomorrow, if I give it away on the air tomorrow, I'll open this up and see how the hell this survival bandana works. There's instructions here on how to use this in survival situations. I don't know if it's cheeky or if it's real. I mean, it's orange, so I have to imagine that it's a good way of staying visible and all that other stuff, but there's a lot of instructions on it. Make sure you are visible to searches. Place reflective and bright items near your shelter. Oh, okay. Well, it's a bandana that you put around your head, and it has all survival tips around it. This is great. I'll throw this into some other stuff too. I'll find a way. Find a way. Thank you, JR. All right, everybody. That's it for tonight. I appreciate you so much. There's still leftover stuff that we can do tomorrow, and in the meantime, I'm going to pull you on over to the flip side, and we'll hang out there for a couple of moments until I go and I join up with Matt Christensen. And you'll be able to just come with me there, or you can go to the Matt Christensen YouTube channel, which he's probably tweeted out and all that stuff. So go ahead and do it. Go and do it. What we're going to be talking about, one of the things we're going to be talking about is this. The leaked messages that expose young Republicans' racist chat room. I can't wait to, Matt told me we're going to be talking about it, so I can't wait to hear what he has to say. I got some things I could say. I got to know more about it. But I started reading a little bit before we went live to kind of brush up. It'll be good to catch up with him too and to bust his bowels. Anyway, if you have a favorite excerpt from 50 Shades of Grey, submit it to the show, Frank at quitefrankly.tv, and that'll make a good flip side segment at some point. And who knows? I just read Dr. Seuss a couple of weeks ago, and that worked out pretty fun. This could be a disaster, but whatever. You guys have been fantastic. I will see you all soon. Oh, Two Dogs Mike D just said, I had to write a laboratory procedure for impaired employee drug testing today, but turned it into a Mad Libs for 2 other department managers to fill out. They were awesome. And NSFW, not safe for work as expected. Then, Mike, you're going to love this. And it's been so many years since I played Mad Libs with the audience that now I'm excited. I really am. Okay, guys. I'll catch you on the flip side. The link will be in the chat room. Thank you.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
On the flip side. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining. That link is going to be in the chat room, as I said. Thank you to our super chatters and everybody else. The show is not over. Not only do we have a couple of minutes alone, but then we're going to join up with Matt Christensen and really make a mess of things. All right. Good night.
Goodbye.
All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody.
Will you shut up?